Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series where we have learned two things in the past week. That it is, in fact, Trans Visibility Week. I didn't know that was a thing, but for everybody out there, we can see you. Your invisibility spell has worn off. If you want to continue doing all the cool shit that you normally do, please reapply it, and then nobody will bother you, I swear. And if you know the actual spell, please give it to the bisexuals. We've been yearning to use it because we have crimes to commit and you guys are being selfish. That being said, we also learned another thing. I forgot it. So let's go ahead and continue on. Today we're going to be looking into a series that we have very many sorts of experiences with, both neutral and good. Not a lot of bad, honestly. That being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 8 of Interspecies Reviewers, a series that is well known for several different things. Mainly the whole thing with 𝓗𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓪𝓲 in the very beginning of its lifespan, where it got reviewed to insanity on my anime list and causing it to be the #1 most liked anime in the entire world, class going above Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then seriously, this happened like a year and a half ago. It was not that long ago. Please look it up. It is a funny ass story. That being said, let's go ahead and get into it. You see, this episode starts off with a series of events that's pretty weird out of context, but let's go ahead and get into it. You see, what happens was we start the episode off with what can only be described as a room full of a torture room, essentially, filled with nothing but, I'd like to think, from context clues, unwilling women and a whole bunch of hooded white robes draped over people. Now, before we get into the rest of it, I just want to let you know, Jesus fuck Japan, this is the second time. Can you dress them any other way? I may be reading into it more than anybody else, but I would also like to say, seriously, pick a different color. Put any color on it. Put pinstripes on it. Literally anything. Round off the top of the hat. Please stop putting pointed white hoods and everything. This is not a cultural thing where it's like, oh, they're doing it. No, please. A large portion of your audience is in America. And pointed white hoods mean something very different over here. Please, for the sake of God. Do it, please. I'm going to go ahead and continue on and forget that I did this whole rant. You see, all these different hooded characters are sitting around these girls and doing the whole typical evil, let's see what you've got underneath here, and then, like, flicks the little strap that usually covers every single bra in every single sense of anime ever, because boobs are huge, and the little bra strap that's, like, right there, that if you, like, cut it, it just explodes out. So, immediately into it, they start getting their whole, like, flow in, and then another one of the hooded figures that sounds and looks an awful lot like Krim just says, I don't think we should do this, guys. This feels a little wrong. And they all turn around and be like, dude, we were getting to the good stuff. And then the epic opening plays, as I've been waiting for every single time I watch this series. And if you don't appreciate this opening by now, change that. You ever heard of art appreciation? This is art. Appreciate it. So, what happens afterwards is it's essentially a little bit of a breakdown about how these are all actresses that are like, hey, keep going. We're getting paid to do this, you know? We can just keep going on this whole thing. And they're like, yeah. But then some of them, not the greatest actors, I just want to let you know. A lot of the way that it's portrayed is that some actresses in the adult film industry are not exactly great actors, and some of them are, and they deserve to be in movies because holy shit, it's easier to do something that Leonardo DiCaprio could do than it is to do what some things happen in these R18 series. Holy God, I have nothing but respect for these sorts of workers. That being said, the acting in this isn't exactly one of those moments, because the Minotaur girl is not exactly a great actress, and there's a lot of immersion breaking. And through the whole thing, there's kind of like tips and tricks into like, who's good, who's not. There's a little bit of a discussion. And it slowly starts to break down as it's a little bit of an explanation of what the services in this particular brothel are. Most of them are, you know, fantasies that you'd like to live out, and or role-playing that a lot of people would take into consideration when they're doing these things to give them a sense of whatever they feel like they want. Which is, you know, typical how role-playing goes. You know, role-playing, that thing you want every single Dungeons and Dragons player to actually do, but none of them do it? If any of my friends are watching this, I'm blaming you for the reason our sessions are bad. Please. Put effort into it. And now I'm going to move past that because I'm not a salty bitch and I'm not going to complain about a lot of different things. That being said, after going into their whole thing about the services that are offered in this brothel, they kind of get into the review of the whole thing, which is more along the lines to say, scene number 1. So let's get into it. Scene number 1 starts off at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. It goes all the way to 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Nice lengthy message to it, but it's also a little less than you'd expect. All the scores that are given are medium to above medium, kind of around the 6.5 to 7-ish range, because the way that it's done is it's pretty much the exact same as most other brothels. There's just that 15-minute build-up in the beginning where you get to do the whole, like, torture or whatever you're doing, kind of just like the role play in the beginning to get into the mood, and then there's like precautions in the in-between section that kind of kills the mood, and it's pretty much just like every other brothel after that point. So it's decent. It's a decent setup. And then after that, they immediately cut to pretty much afterwards as they're all leaving, and all the reviews are posted on the walls, which are given between, I'd like to call them the B team. You know, those characters that are at the end of pretty much every single scene where the reviews are posted, so that they can get kind of a gauge for like how their reviews are being taken. It's pretty much just like all these different fantasy characters and the one virgin lizard dude that they all make fun of because he gets into it, and then they're like, hey, look at this fucking virgin. And then they're like, and then the dude's like, you didn't have to say it, that's cool. But after that, they also get a little bit of a shot with the actresses that are in this whole series, and kind of like what their next thing that they're gonna go into is. But then, you know, after the little transition between like one thing to the other half of the episode, it then kicks into like all the characters except for Krim staring at a piece of paper, as Krim then like floats by and is like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we got a quest that we're going on that's going to pay a ton, and it's also going to be pretty easy, but it's also by a place that we've gone to a whole bunch of times. They're like, oh, well, where are they going? And then lo and behold, they find the Tower of Babel that is just straight up 70 floors of demon girls. Or as they're pretty much called in this, succubi, because that's just exactly what they are. Because succubi are pretty much just the sex demons. Yeah, that's pretty much what they are. They kind of go in there and, yeah, Tower of Babel full of demons. Fun symbolism. You're not supposed to build a tower that high. Then God makes you speak Spanish. But then he put it full of demons, and then I'm scared what the demons are going to be doing. So the whole thing with this is they walk in, and then they're like, oh, so what's it like over here? Do they, like, not give you a ton of time because the girls are so good? No, they give you twice as much time. Oh. Well, is it expensive? Yeah, it's pretty damn cheap. Oh, well, are the girls ugly? The girls conform to every which way you've won it. Which makes me think of the scene from Walk Hard, you know, the whole Dewey Cox thing where he's like, here's weed, and they're like, well, it's not gonna make me want to have sex, is it? And they're like, it makes sex even better. And he's like, I don't want to get a hangover. It doesn't give you a hangover. Sounds kind of expensive. It's the cheapest drug there. Like, that's what it kind of gave me that's the vibes it gave me as he was going through it, and I thought it was super fucking funny. All three of them then walk into the center of it, and they're like, I want this, 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 and this. I want all these on my girl, and I want them ready to go. And then 3 different girls come out with those exact proportions and are ready to go. Oh, as Build-A-Bitch episode 2 starts kicking in, and damn if it ain't good. This is also one of those places that I feel like a lot of people could go to. Socially anxious people like myself would probably fuck it all up and be like, what type of girl do you want? What does she normally look like? And then I'm going to draw at random because I don't want to look like I'm picking favorites because that feels mean. But this isn't about me. So they go in, they order their whole thing. Krim is a little overwhelmed by everybody that's going on because all of them are hot because, dude, they're sex demons. They can do that. Picks one at random with the heart eyes because he's a man of culture. And then they go off. And then, well, they don't really get to the review immediately. They get to Krim's section of it, which, holy hell. Let's go ahead and get into it. Scene number 2. Scene number 2 starts at 16 minutes flat and goes all the way to 17 minutes and 55 seconds long. If this ain't a good one, and if this ain't a weird one, I don't know what is. Because I don't know if anybody out there has a fetish for women getting all of the marshmallow fluff out of a jar with nothing but their tongues. But I do now. And I blame this episode. I was going to say anything other than marshmallow fluff because I couldn't think of anything, but when I went for a different one, I'm like, sucking all the mustard out of a tube with nothing but their mouth. My thought process went to, that sounds horrible. Why would you drink that much mustard? The marshmallow fluff is Krim, and she's sucking the life out of him. Damn! And yeah, it goes on for a while, and this is probably the part where Funimation, or it was either Funimation or Crunchyroll was like, yeah, we're not gonna continue this. Episode 3 is where we're gonna officially stop, but I feel like this was the scene where they called it off completely. They go through their whole shtick as they all get done with theirs, and then they go for the walk home. And if this isn't the walk of shame, this is the walk of soullessness, because they had that sucked all the way out of them. They pass by all different kinds of girls. The elderly girl that Zell is into, the slime girl, who's awesome. They walk by, and they walk by a third one. I think it was either a cat girl or one of the other ones. I can't remember. As they're walking by them, there's just no acknowledgement. I don't know what's going on, but I have no libido whatsoever anymore. As they walk by, dead-eyed zombie. And as they walk by, they then go into their reviews, which, let's go ahead and get into that, which is scene number 3. Scene number 3 starts at 19 minutes and 15 seconds and goes all the way to 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Minute 35? Yeah, minute 35, that's what I'm doing. It's a good one, but it's not as good as the whole, getting marshmallow fluff out of a tube. Because, one thing, they're all, giving it, 5s or 6s out of 10s, because, holy hell, it's one thing to, yeah, I think I'm done, and then the girl's like, no, you ain't, and then you gotta sit there and have, the brain sucked out of you. Damn. Respect to the libido and the constitution scores you absolutely destroyed doing this whole thing. And right after that, Krim gets back to work, doesn't realize what's going on, a little bit of a physical comedy section, they play the epic end song, and then scenes out. Yeah, that was episode 8 of Interspecies Reviewers. My thoughts on it? This is definitely one of the top 3 sexiest ones that I've seen so far, and we still have 4 more episodes to go. I think it goes to 12. It's either 12 or 13, but this is top 3, goddammit. I still think episode 3 takes the cake for being one of the higher ones on the list, specifically for the gender bending thing and that whole section of it, just overall. But then again, the salamander chick, I don't know, she's top up there. I don't want to give discredit to best girl in the whole series, the little elf one, but damn, that salamander was taking meat left and right. I don't know if I can say that's one of the hottest episodes. I did not mean to make a pun there, but yeah, Salamander Girl was the one that got one of the hottest episodes. So, yeah, this was one of the hotter episodes. If you're going through this specifically for the scenes of the whole thing, I would recommend this episode highly over a lot of the other ones. but I would also not recommend skipping any of them because the comedy in this is funny as hell, and I do not say that lightly. I'm personally of the mind that Japanese comedy isn't exactly my thing. It's for a culture that I am not a part of. But this has some solid jokes in it, and it's pretty well done. So, yeah. If you want to watch this for the scenes, watch it for the scenes. If you want to watch it for the plot and revolving stories of it, watch it for that. This is funny. And yeah, that's where we're going to end for today. Thank you all for being here. It has been an absolute pleasure getting on my schedule and filming these videos for, the best I can say, an explosion of subscribers all at once. Holy fuck, I went up by like 7 subs, which may not sound like a lot to you, but when my group of friends that I hang out with is like 5 or 6, and when it goes above that in less than a week, that's fucking crazy. And I cannot for the life of me thank each and every one of you enough for that. That was awesome. Every one of the new guys, hi, I'm working my ass off to make sure that I can get these here, and thank you for being any sort of supportive during this whole thing. It has been nothing but a pleasure, and I hope to see each and every one of you again on my next video. Thank you all for being here. Subscribe if you want to watch more videos. And until next time, I have been the Doctor. And remember, have a nice day. Don't be a dick. There's too many of them. And wash your fucking hands. I've been the Doctor. Peace.